Hey y'all, hey, happy Wednesday. We have made it. We have made it over the hump day, right? So we are pretty much at the baseline, you guys, to wrap up our week. If you are off on the weekends, we almost there, y'all. Almost. Just hang in for 2 more days, 2 more days. But I just want to hop on here really quickly to say how I notice, like when hurt and pain hasn't really hit someone's home, you can sense the arrogance, you can sense the cockiness, you can sense, sorry y'all, I'm washing. So if y'all hear that, my apologies. Well, it has stopped now, but it's stopping. But anyways, yeah, you can tell when like hurt and true pain hasn't hit someone's home, because when it does, it completely alters you. It completely shifts you to your entirety. And you can just tell those who haven't really experienced that pain. And Lord forbid the day that they do, I don't wish that on anybody or anything, but it's just like God has a way of sitting people down and really humbling you. And it's crazy because I've never been a cocky or arrogant person. However, I feel like God has set me down plenty of times. Why? I do not know. Only He knows, right? But I have been set down a plethora of times. And again, I've never been cocky or arrogant or egotistical or anything like that. But it just, I don't know. I don't know if He took certain people away, I don't know, to shape me, to mold me, or maybe He was trying to reach somebody else. But in hindsight, it also impacted me tremendously by those people passing away and transitioning to the other realm, right? But yeah, I'm just like, I have definitely been molded and shaped in ways that I never imagined, in ways that I definitely didn't expect in all of my years, right? So it's just, it hits you differently. You look at things from a different lens, from a different perspective. And so when I see people come on here making a mockery out of others or joking about other people's lives and people's characters and who they are and stuff to boost their own selves up, it really is bothersome, because it's just like, oh wow, like you really don't know what pain is for you to be the way that you are. And because I'm just like, there's absolutely no way that people will be walking around with such pride, right, and bass in their tone, if they truly were stripped of everything that God presented before them. Whether it's a person, whether it's a career, whether it's finances, whether it's whatever, right? You can tell that certain people have not been stripped of the things that they love, because if they were, they'll have a whole different demeanor. And I just really came on here to say, just be careful how you treat people. Be careful how you come at people. Be careful how you talk to people, talk at people, talk about people, belittle people, demeanor people, and just speak ill will against people, and just completely making a mockery out of individuals, right? You have to be very careful with that, because there will be a time, I can guarantee you, and hopefully I pray for the individuals who act like that they don't experience hurt for a long, long, long time. I don't wish that on nobody. Absolutely nobody. But I'm not God. But what I do know is that God Himself, there will come a time when you're doing all this and all that, and and I'm this and I'm that. I heard a pastor, since people love to say what they heard pastors say and make it Bible, right? I heard a pastor say that if you keep hearing the letter I did this first, I did that, but I did this and I did that. When you start to hear yourself say I on every occasion, then you are no longer serving God. You are serving self. You are no longer idolizing God, as in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but you are idolizing self, the arrogance, the cockiness. You're feeding your flesh, not Christ. And it's so crazy because so many people are easily bamboozled. They don't know discernment from the D to the I. So, like, of course, they're just going to listen to anybody and believe that everybody is working under the covenant and umbrella of Christ. And that's unfortunate because wolves can dress themselves up really, really well. I'll give you that. So it's easy to be bamboozled, fooled, and tricked. Okay? But yeah, I'll just be looking at some people and I think that they're a joke. I don't really take them seriously because it's just like, there's a guy who I was about to sign up for his academy and I had to check myself. I'm like, no, I don't really agree with this person. I don't really truly agree with much that he stands for. Now, when he's in his calling and his purpose, which is talking about love and relationships and helping women boost their self-esteem and their confidence and confidence boosters and telling it like it is in those regards and telling women how they need to stop allowing men to do this, this, and this and walking over them. Yeah, when that person is in their purpose, I wholeheartedly agree. I don't mind watching videos when they're in their absolute purpose. But when they start to straddle the fence and steer away from that purpose to benefit self, to pleasure self and their flesh, by talking down on people, then it's like an up and down with me with that. And you can't be up and down with me. And if it's anybody else that's like me, you can't be up and down with them either. You have to pick a fence, like I said before. Pick a side of the fence and stay on it. Either you're going to serve yourself or you're going to serve the Most High. And I guarantee you, if you continue to choose self, God will show you who He is and who you are versus who you think you are compared to Him. So it's just like, it's crazy. I'm just like, oh, people be having the audacity. It is so crazy because people be having these plethora of subscribers and stuff like that. And I be like, baby, y'all have no idea. Y'all clearly cannot see what I see. And y'all just straddling along. Ooh, 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 oh yeah. Oh my gosh, I just love this person. He's so right. She's so right. They just, wah, wah, wah. Baby, y'all don't even know. And may the Lord be with y'all. Because I'll just be like, oh wow. Oh my, I'll be reading some of the comments. Oh really? Oh, you agree? Oh. So this person is now your God versus the one and only true and living God. Interesting. Very interesting. People start to idolize other people and really begin to take their word and make it Bible. And it's far from it. Okay? When you start singing that, and I started this first, but Steve Harvey came out with it. And I started this show first, but now they got it on Netflix, Pop the Bloom. And do you know how many things I can say that I started first? But who cares? The point of it is, I didn't have the capital to put up to do it, so God gave the vision to somebody who did. Simple as that. We can sit on here and go back to back with eyes all on day long. And what does it matter? What is that going to prove? And then the individuals in the comments, they just swear, kissing all kind of tail, all kind of booty. Oh man, you just the originator of everything. You sit down because you're still on punishment. No, I'm not giving you kisses. Thank you very much. Because he's on punishment right now. Sit down. Making me drop my darn milkshake, acting wild when I walk in his house. But anyway, sorry y'all. But yeah, y'all, child. Some of y'all really need to find Jesus because y'all just listen to anybody and y'all just kiss up to anybody and y'all just follow anybody. When those individuals are losing their own way, they're losing the direction and the path that God set them on to feed flesh. And y'all can't even tell that it's happening because y'all don't know no better. And this is not trying to be disrespectful or throwing any shade. That's the truth. People that don't know no better can't do better. So they just believe whatever is presented in front of them from someone who makes it seem like they are just holier than thou, that they walk hand in hand with Christ, that they are truly doing everything that Christ has called them to do, and that they're not swaying and going into their own road less traveled by themselves, right? And veering away from what God truly called them to do and set out for them to do. And y'all just, a round of applause. Very sad thing to see. Very sad thing to see. But I hope the people that y'all are idolizing, I hope they don't disappoint y'all one day. I sure hope they don't. May the Lord be with all of you, if ever the time comes around. Because at the end of the day, we are all just as human as the next. Okay, so you just have to be very, very cautious. I'm like, the people that I have lost in my life, baby, that's all I needed. I don't need no more. Lord, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. No, 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 no. May the angels of death pass by all of our houses each and every day for years to come, because I have had quite enough. And when I say I was already an humble human being, I can't even explain the humbleness that lies within me, bro, because when I say completely shifts you, completely takes you by storm, completely holds you upside down and empty everything out of you, if you even had the thought to think, let me step into ego, it gets shut down. Okay? So it's just like, baby, man, the losses that our family have taken, the losses that I have taken in friendships, and I'm not talking about losses as in we don't talk anymore, but they're still alive. I'm talking about death losses. Okay? It ain't nothing funny about it. And again, I don't wish it on anybody, but it has definitely shaped me and molded me into the young woman that I am now, for sure. If I never was molded into anything before, those circumstances completely transformed me. It's why I have so much compassion for others. It's why I can look at somebody who may be imperfect and still show them grace. It's why I can say, oh, well, I had this vision, but this person got it, and I can still clap for them without acknowledging that maybe I said something out of my mouth that spoke that into existence, and it was placed into the atmosphere and was able to go to the person that had the capital to proceed with the vision. I don't feel a certain type of way. Because for what? What good is that going to do me? It's going to put money in my pocket. It can't change nothing. It is what it is. So for me to sit back here on this camera and say, oh, like Samuel L. Jackson, y'all know one of my favorite top 10 movies is Coach Carter. And again, when I'm watching stuff, I watch it like I teach my students. What was the author's message? What was the lesson that the author wanted us to learn from this story? What did the author want us to take away? Coach Carter, beautiful exemplar. Sorry, I'm in teacher mode. Beautiful example of what the lesson that was taken away in one of the scenes when he was telling them when they got so arrogant and boastful after winning that game, after coming off a season prior of straight losses, and everybody counted them out because they was losing so much. And then when they finally got a coach, a darn good, bossed up coach like Samuel L. Jackson, who came in that thing and turned it around because he had prior experience to playing basketball. Then they start to win those games and got extremely, extremely cocky. And so during their practice, Coach Carter came in there and said, woo, I tied that. Look at this shoe. I tied that. I did that. I tied that shoe. I. So now it's an I now. There ain't no I in team, but now it's an I did that. Woo! I might post that clip on here. Let me see if I can find it. Here you go.
That's me, baby. That's me. I did that. I drew that up. Yeah. Ha ha. Run it again. All right, 1-4. Linda. All day, baby, all day. Can't stop that. Can't stop that.
Hey, coach, your shoes untied, sir.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Warren. Woo! Look at that bow. Look at that. I tied that shit. Can I get something on the bow? Let me get some. Are you crazy? What is wrong with you?
So, yeah, that's how people tend to get. And it's so easy to get lost and caught up in our own foolishness and sniff our own draws, and we really think our poop smell like roses. Okay? But like Outkast said, roses really smell like Yeah, roses really smell like Exactly. Humans can never sniff their butt so much because it all smells like poo. Okay? The only entity that's probably smelling like roses and beautiful fragrances, even after everything he went through, is Christ. So who are humans to sit up there and even for a second think that they are equivalent to him? Because that's pretty much what you're saying when you start talking about I did that. And really quickly, I've never shared this with anyone. Only my dad knows. I think my mama know, but only my dad knows. When I was at their place, it was me and him there, and I shared it with him. I'll go ahead and be full transparent. Again, y'all know my major was communication. Again, communication is so broad. People try to talk down on communication, specifically people who don't even have a degree. But let's not go there because we're not trying to bash people like they bash other people, right? So they talk about communication, but communication can take you far. Like I literally know personally people who I went to college with who work for BET. I literally saw them on red carpets interviewing T.I., interviewing this. So communication majors can go far in life. It just depends on who you know, how you can work it, and if you truly have a passion in pursuing something in communication. It's all kind of things. It don't even have to be red carpet. It could be, I know somebody right now working for Southwest Airlines, one of the top heads in the executive departments that's shifting things and moving things, but she works in the communication department. It's broad. You can literally do anything with it. But you have to know which direction and which path you want to take with it, stick to it, and pursue it. All right? So, like for me, I'm very big into film. That's really what I fall under. For me, that's my path. That's why y'all wonder why I'm such a movie fanatic. That's why. All right? We were literally making movies and short films all throughout college. And editing and doing this and doing that. That's what I was doing. Okay? And so I was telling my dad, I was like, Daddy, I want to come up with a show, right? And I was telling him because I hadn't seen anybody revamp the 90s show Girlfriends. So, you know, everybody know the 90s hit sitcom Girlfriends, right? And so I was like, I really miss shows like this. Now that I'm older and I rewatch those episodes as an adult, it was really a toxic show and a toxic friendship, and they really shouldn't have been friends. But, you know, before I decided to rewatch all of them, right, those episodes, I was talking to my dad and I was like, I want to do a show like that. Like, we are really missing that factor when it comes to female friendships. And the world has gotten so lost that these females, they're easy and quick to stab each other in the back, to talk down on each other, to belittle one another. There's no loyalty anywhere. And so I was like, we need to bring back a show like that. And I really want to do it. And my daddy was like, H, yeah. You know how they saying H, yeah, but that was my daddy for real, literally. H, yeah. Do it, Jazz. I'm telling you, that's my dog. Do it, Jazz. Do it, Jazz. So I was like, man, I need the doggone capital, bruh. And so I didn't have the capital. I had the name for it and everything. I had a few names because I actually sent it to one of my coworkers. This is when I was working in retail. I was working at another retail store prior to working at Target, right? And so I was working at another store, and I sent my idea to one of those girls that I was working with, one of my coworkers. She was a young girl still in college and stuff like that. So I said, hey, what do you think about this? I had created an intro and everything for the episode. You know how they do like little pilots or whatever? Well, mine wasn't necessarily a pilot, but it's just to put y'all in the mind frame of something that I had put together to kind of like show people and get it together or whatever like that. So I had sent it to her. And she was like, oh, this is fire. I had the entire intro. I had the song that I wanted to play, everything. And I had a few titles. I was like, oh, well, maybe I can call it The Girls. I kid y'all not. I said, maybe I can call it Sisters. I can put my daddy on this camera tomorrow and he can tell y'all. I wonder if I still have it written down somewhere. If I do, I don't even know what my freaking notebook is. I wonder if I done got brand new phones and everything. I'm like, I wonder if I still have the text message I sent her with the intro. Oh my gosh. This was in 2016, you guys. This was in 2016. I'll never forget it. But anyways, I had the entire intro. I had one of Brandy's songs, this Moesha Brandy. I had one of her songs as the intro. I had it down to a T. And who do y'all know had that hit show today called Sisters on BET? Tyler Perry. So it's a lot of stuff that I can say, oh, I came up with this. I can sit back behind the screen all day long and say, but I came up with it first. What is it going to benefit me? Who cares? I didn't have the capital. The one who did, that's the one that's known. So it's just like, what is our purpose when we sit behind the camera and say, I, like, shut up, get it together. Need to go on your knees. You need to go on your knees and pray to the Lord to wash your mouth and wash your spirit of being so self-absorbed. Because we could all talk about what I should have been doing, what I came up with before this person, but we just didn't have the capital, so shut up and let it go. Give it to God. Clap and applaud for those people. I'm just happy that something came around. I'm just happy that it's out there to have a true, healthier friendship like sisters. But it's just like, yeah, and so when people do that, again, certain things, it just shapes you and it molds you. That's not even on your mind to be talking about and to sit so high and mighty on this pedestal that you have created for yourself. And people be in denial. I've noticed that. People are in really bad denial that they are who people tell them that they are. If somebody is telling you you're egotistical on more than one occasion, you're egotistical. The first thing to healing and to overcome that egotistical mindset is to acknowledge that you have a problem dealing with ego. The first step to overcoming the fact that you have a problem where you belittle people is to first acknowledge that that's what you do, rather than trying to talk yourself out of it. And of course, anybody that you're making money for and providing for and taking care of you, they're going to kiss your tail too, because you're taking care of them. So they're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to tell you what you want to hear, or what's going to make you feel good, what's going to make you feel better. So you're never really truly acknowledging the dirty pieces and bits about yourself. In fact, you want them to tell you that you're not doing too much. You want people to tell you that, no, you're perfectly fine, so that you don't have to change. And that's just not how life works. Everybody has to change, or God will make you change. How about that? Okay? And again, this is coming from somebody who has never even been egotistical at all, ever. I've never been cocky. I have always been under the umbrella of Christ, for real. I have always been an humble servant. I have always. And that's something that I am very proud about. I am. And again, it's not to say that I'm looking down on people because they are not like me, but I am acknowledging the things that I see about people. But best believe, rest assured, Oh, baby, I check myself all day, every day. And that's how I'm able to check everybody else too. When I see them acting in a way that's not in accordance to God and what God has called them to do. For real. Because I check me every chance. I am very self-aware of the things I need to work on, the things that I have overcome, and the things that I'm still having challenges with. Even all this week, I had to pray, Lord, shift my mind, shift my mind. One of the guys got up there on Sunday on the stage at church, and he was saying, some of y'all are in the right place, but have the complete wrong mindset. And that can be a hindrance. When he said that, I was like, ooh, checking myself. Ooh. So all this week I've been praying, Lord, shift my mind, so that I'm able to see clearly if something presents itself to me in the atmosphere in which I'm in, though I may not like it, though it may not be the best thing that I love doing right now. I love the atmosphere, don't get me wrong, but it's not necessarily the thing that I want to be doing right now. But still shift my mindset so that I can see a good opportunity when it presents itself to me in the atmosphere that I'm currently in the career that I'm currently in. Shift my thoughts. Come before me in my thoughts. Come before me when I walk out the house. Come before me before I step in this classroom. Come before me. I need you to be present in this atmosphere. Take me out of it and replace me with you from the inside out. Change and transform my mind so that I won't be acting a certain way in the classroom when I'm upset or frustrated or annoyed or irritated or agitated, right? Take me out of it and fill it with you. Fill me with you. All right? And so, yeah, I check myself just as much as I check anybody else. Let's never get it twisted. But yeah, I had to sit through some pain as well, just to truly understand. And again, maybe it's the male species versus the female species, and we're just completely different with our thought processes. But just because we are different doesn't mean that we are exempt from change. Well, I don't look at it like this because I'm a man, I'm macho. Y'all want people to be soft. No, that's not what nobody is saying. Again, that's your flesh talking. That's your ego talking. That's your pride talking. That's your arrogance talking, because who said that but you? That's not what that means at all. That's not what that means at all. But that's the way you want to perceive it because you refuse to change. You want somebody to be hating from the outside because they can't even get in because you just refuse to change. People really do be liking what they do. And they'd rather continue doing it than to have to change, because change is hard. Change is challenging. Change is tough. Especially when you feel like somebody has come for you and tried to attack you and this and that. Been there, done that. But we still got to change some things up. How long you going to let anger take over you to where you can't get past something or something that was said or whatever they did? How long you going to keep letting that replay until it consumes you and you thinking you have control over it, but really it's controlling you? This little boy, he has irked me for today, but I love him still. I love him dearly. I love you dearly. But you still irritated mommy very badly. And that's what I'm washing, because I spilled my doggone a lot of my milkshake coming in the house because he jumped on me and flipped the top off. And so I had to change into this to do my video before I go wash my face and get myself together for bed. But anyways, but yeah, y'all, do better, y'all. All these Christians, this is why I don't even go by religion, because it's just like people in Christianity, they can leave a very distasteful, sour taste in your mouth. Just, ugh, right? but just have to have a relationship with Christ, a true, real relationship with Christ for sure. And again, stuff like this is what steers people away from the church. And then those same individuals would come on here and talk about y'all taking people away from the church, and y'all doing, you are the people. What are you talking about? Again, acknowledgement. You are the people. You're talking about yourself, but you don't want to acknowledge that you are. Mind-blowing, I tell you. Mind-blowing. Flabbergasted. But anyways, y'all, I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed. I went to my nephew's basketball game, went to work, came home, walked the dog, fed him. Glad I came home early and did those things because his game was supposed to start at 7:30. Don't know how this happened. I feel like it's very unorganized, but somehow they canceled the freshman game and they canceled the varsity game. So it pushed my nephew's game up a whole hour. It started at originally 7:30 and then they got pushed up to 6:30. So then I had to leave the house after I thought I had about an hour to just calm myself and to get some Zen time. Yeah, no. Did all of those things, walked him, fed him. By the time I called my mama and I called her to confirm the time, and I'm glad I did because she said, oh, they bumped it up at 6:30. I called her at 6:03. So if I didn't call her until 6:15, she wasn't going to tell me until 6:15 that they bumped it up. So when things be on my spirit, something just be saying, call just in case, call just in case, call to confirm. And that's what I did. And sure enough, it was bumped up. So I had to go there and then come all the way back home. So today's been a long day. I think Wednesdays, all the rest of the year are going to be long days for me, very long days for me. As far as like work, and not long in the sense where I'm like staying at work late, because clearly I got home very early. I left work at 4:30, so that's the perfect time for me. But it's the fact that so much happens for 5th grade teachers on Wednesdays. They kind of did some switches in our schedules and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I'm not here. I ain't gonna drain y'all. But yeah, it's just a very long Wednesday. But all right, y'all. I don't know who else needed to hear this. I know who it's for, but I don't know who else needed to hear this precisely. But I hope, again, as always, you take something from this, learn from it, and yeah. And before I get out of here, don't be hating on my shirt, okay? I got a whole little set, and it's like, be kind. Y'all know my motto, because I really do live my life in real life. How I tell y'all I live it. I really am who I say I am by the grace of God. And I pray that he continues to keep me being the person that I am. Of course, always evolving for the better and always growing, but never getting ahead of myself, ahead of him in anything. Also, speaking of that, at church on Sunday, this guy flew in from South Carolina. He's the one who said some of us are in the right places with the wrong mindset. Right? So he also was prophesying some things, and I'm not a big person, a big believer in like prophesying and stuff. I'm very cautious with who I let pray over me or who I let speak things to me and stuff. I like to hear from the source himself directly. So as everybody was extending their hands, praying over the things that he was prophesying about, I was extending my hands, praying over something different. I was extending my hand towards our First Lady and her husband, which is the senior pastor, also praying and covering their son, which is the minister, and their daughter as well, and their grandbaby, right? That all attend the church. And while he was praying over one thing and the church was praying over one thing, I was praying that God keeps them humble. That God keeps them and continues to make them humble servant in the midst of all the transformations, all the things that he was prophesying over, and all the changes and the things that's getting ready to happen and transform in that church. I was praying for something completely different, to keep them humble servants, to not let them get ahead of Christ. Okay? To not let them make a mockery out of the church by turning the church into a show. Okay, with these new things that's getting ready to happen. And I do believe that these things are going to happen for that church. That church this church is very special. And I haven't said that about churches, I don't think, ever in my life. But this church is something very unique about it, something very special. It's not to say that I don't know what type of mess or whatever goes on within, because I'm just getting there, and I pray to God that I stay away from anything that pertains to mess and gossip and stuff within the church. But and that he keeps me away from those individuals, and that those individuals find somewhere else to go with that mess, if that is the case, right? But so it's not to say that the church is without fault, or that they're just perfect. It's a church full of imperfect people, including the senior pastor, right? We're all human beings that's just trying to get better and become better human beings, I hope, right? So it's not to say the church is perfect, but it's definitely something about the church that's it's very dynamic. It's very, I can't really explain it, but it's something about it for sure. And I do, like I said, so I definitely believe these things will happen and come to fruition for the church. But in the midst of it, I just pray the individuals that's over the church, that has a community and worship and praise throughout the church, that has ministries throughout the church, right? That they don't let those things consume them to where they lose sight of Christ and how he called them to run the church. So, I don't know what they was praying about, but I was praying about that as I extended my right hand. So yeah, so just all about kindness and stuff like that. And yeah, so I got these little PJs, y'all, from when I went to the Disney World in Orlando, Florida, with my niece, my nephews, my mom, and my daddy, some years ago, because all of my nieces and nephews, their birthdays are all in August, like literally back to back, except for my youngest nephew. His birthday is in April. So he's the only little oddball, but he's our oddball, and that's my Tuki. but yeah, everybody else, all of my other babies, their birthdays are in August. My niece and my oldest nephew, their birthday is actually on the same day in August. And then my middle nephew, his birthday is like 2 weeks before theirs in August, or a week before theirs. No, 2 weeks before theirs in August. So yeah, we took all of them to Disney World for a birthday celebration. And yeah, that's where I got these little PJs. I can still fit them, y'all. I'm telling y'all, just itty bitty. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. But hopefully when I have kids, I gain the perfect amount of weight on me. Not too much. Not too much. Don't be doing too much to my body, okay? But anyways, that's neither here nor there, child. But wishful thinking, okay? But yeah, so that's all I came here to say, baby people. Y'all need to wake up and stop being in denial, because it's not helping you any. You're still the same. Like, there's no growth being made. You're still stagnant, and you're still in denial. So let's get it together so that we can become better human beings, and we can stop doing the foolish things that we do, and then telling people, I'm just doing what God told me to do. No, the heck you're not, and you're very aware of that. So that's what kind of upsets me even more, because no, you're not, and you know that. You know that. You're feeding yourself. You're feeding your flesh. Cut the crap. But anyways, all right, y'all. Have a great night. Bye. Talk to y'all later. Let's be great.